Afternoon, students. As I promised you in the last class, here you have the closest that I could get to a birch tree is the bamboo tree outside the window of my house. Yes, swinging under the bright afternoon sun, a hot day here in the city. But I would expect you to be imaginative and close your eyes and think of a similar sight that we talked about last time. A tree swinging in the breeze, probably covered with snow and ice, the swinging branches caused by nature, or a little boy who is a swinger of birches. From there, let's move now to the reality. Let me take you back to where we stopped. Remember, we had two transitions. Line 21, the first transition, where I told you the truth broke in. So the reality, the nature part of it that helped in bending the branches is over. Then the reality that probably it was a little boy whose only activity while he was grazing his father's sheep and cows was to be an adventurer and conquer the birch trees lined in front of him. And then the next transition. And so I was once myself a swinger of birches. And so I dream of going back to be. Now the transition from a little boy to probably an old man, probably the poet himself. Yes. And he is reminiscing. Could be that he himself spent some time. Between the last class and today, I did do a bit of reading and I got to know that he did work in a small farm up in New Hampshire called the Dairy Farms. That's where Robert Frost did spend a few of his holidays. And the birch tree could be from the dairy farms in New Hampshire. We don't know. So from there, the two transitions, we move to a different reality. Yes, like I told you in the very beginning, jot down what the word birches conjures in your mind. And I'm sure you've written down a few things. Tick if what you have written matches with what we are discussing now. Right? You're ready with your text and your numbered lines. So let's move on now to lines 43 to 47. It is when I'm weary of considerations and life is too much like a pathless wood where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it and one eye is weeping from a twig's having lashed across it open. Harsh, extremely, extremely harsh. Where does the harshness come from? The harshness comes from a few words. The first word, considerations. When I'm weary, okay, weary, tired of considerations, tired of what are these considerations? I am a grown man. I have my responsibilities towards my home, my work. Too much of responsibilities. I'm tired of it. Day in and day out. Harshness. And life is what? Like a pathless wood. Think of walking. You can't get frost without a wood in the poem, yes. But this wood does not have two roads, which you have to choose one of them. No, it is a pathless wood. So what happens when you need to cross the wood and it is pathless? You try to make your own path. And what is happening as a result of that? Further harshness. Because as you're tearing the branches of the trees away, because there is no path, you're making your own path. There are shrubs around, bushes, trees, branches. They actually cut across your face. Burns and tickles with the cobwebs. Cobwebs are hanging all around. Spiders around, insects. And you are making a path through it. and it hurts you in the process. It hurts you in the process. There's a twig that has come and slashed against your face. Your face burns, tickles with the cobwebs broken across it. One eye is weeping from a twig's having lashed across it open. So you've hurt yourself. You've hurt yourself badly. Now tell me something here. Is the poem talking about literally the cut and the wound and the graze and the blood that is seeping out? Or is there something more that the poet wishes us to think about? I gave you a second to think. Yes, it is an adult activity of considerations, different decision-making activities that we are busy with. But as kids, we are not aware of it. But as we grow up, we find that there's so many challenges that come forth in our lives, challenges that we had no expectations about. We never thought that we would face these barriers as we moved ahead in life. So, and these roadblocks that have come, the barriers that have come, the hurdles that have come along our journey have caused not just the physical wounds. I don't think the poet is only talking about that, but probably from within it has broken us. Broken us to such an extent that what do I want to do? I dream of going back to be a swinger of verses. Oh, it was wonderful to be young. Those were the days, my friend. Yes, I don't know. I always think of Harry Belafonte when I'm reminiscing of the childhood. Probably. So, apart from carving your own path through a wood that is a journey of life, you're making your own road map to reach a certain goal. You will find challenges. You will face a lot of hurdles. They will scar you, wound you, graze you, tire you to such an extent that probably you want to give up. Give up on the present. But should you do that? What does the poet say? I would like to get away from earth a while. So I'm now doing lines 48 and 49 only, the two lines. Please mark these lines. I would like to get away from earth a while and then come back to it and begin over. Simple question. Does the poet give up? In the face of challenges, will you give up? Yeah. I'm sure I've heard a lot of no's from you on the other side. You can't. I would like to get away from the earth, but a while. Take a break. Sit back. Think of whether we had made the right choices, whether we have faced the challenges as we should have faced, whether we have taken the right decisions. Sit back. So when you are talking about getting away from earth, means getting away from the daily chores that you're busy yourself with. Get away, sit back. And then when you have regained your confidence, when you have realized where things have gone wrong, you will go back to making your own roadmap to reach the goal that you have set yourself to achieve. That is what the poet tells us in these two lines. Like I told you, there is not an iota of negativity that you perhaps would have thought when you gave it a first read. Frost is not negative. Yes. So he says, but I'll come back to it. Yes, I'll be back. I'll be back. And begin all over. A new journey starts all over. Right. These are these transitions that the poet talks about. Probably, if I can use a very strong word, he's escaping into the childhood. For what? For sanity. get back that sanity, rejuvenated, and again face what the present holds for us, the responsibilities that the present adult life holds for us. Yes. But that going away is only to come back. The going away is for a new beginning. Yes, and that is important. Lines 50 to 50, yeah, 50 to 53. May no fate willfully misunderstand me and half grant what I wish and snatch me away not to return. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. Read the lines once again, students. May no fate willfully misunderstand me and half grant what I wish and snatch me away not to return. Listen, any spirit out there, perhaps, who's going to grant me a wish, I'm not asking you to take me away. Don't misunderstand me. I don't want to leave the earth. I don't want to die yet. This is my home. This is where I would want to be. Don't misunderstand me. I've not given up. I just want a respite. So, anybody out there thinks, let's grant his wish, please don't misunderstand. Don't take me away that I can never come back. Yes. Because, again, extremely important lines, these two. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. Is he right in saying it? Have you seen any other world other than the world around you? The earth? Earth, the right place for love. This is where our family is. This is where our friends are. This is where we have received all our fulfillments. This is the place where all our wishes have been granted. I have loved ones all around me all the time. I don't know of any other world. Yes, the people talking about heaven, the world beyond, where there is peace. There is a picture of white and blue and peace and prosperity, no sorrow. It's all in the textbooks, philosophies, not tangible. I have not seen it. Yes, people talk about it. It's in the mind. But I have not seen it. For me, love is earth. For me, the earth is where my family is, my friends are, people who matter to me, things that matter to me are all around me. So this is the only place I know. This is the only place I know where I can receive and give love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. If there is another world, I don't know anything about it. You all may talk about it, but I haven't seen it, and seeing is believing. So I don't accept it. For me, this world outside, this earth, is my entire existence. I don't want anything. So please do not think that I want to get away from it. Anybody out there wants to grant me a wish? This is not the wish I want to be granted. Don't take me away. I want to stay here. This is my world. Okay. We move to 54 to 57. I would like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb black branches up a snow-white trunk towards heaven, till the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. Yeah. So now, what does he say here? But I'm curious to know what lies beyond. Probably, remember in the beginning he talked about the dome of heaven, that sort of crystals, it sort of breaks into little fragments and falls down. So probably this birch tree can take me where? I would like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb black branches up a snow white trunk towards heaven, not to heaven. I'm not going to reach heaven. I'm going towards it. I want to see. All right, I'm curious. Curiosity is natural. So I would like to know, yes, people have spoken about heaven. Let me climb the birch tree because I believe it can, when I swing it, I go right up the very dome. I can see what heaven is like. But the black branches up a snow white trunk towards heaven. Yes, so I would like, this thing about I'd like to go by. I'd like to go by. I would like to go by. End my life? Is he really being very negative here? He said, no. It could be, I just want to have a feel. Yes, I would like to go to see what heaven is like by climbing a tree. Yes, towards heaven. I don't want to just get to heaven just now, not yet, but I will go towards heaven. Yes, and have a peek from the very top of the tree to see where it goes and climb those branches up. That, remember, the ice has melted. Yes, the branches are bare. Only near the trunk you have this like little strewn pieces of glass, the ice all around. The branches are devoid of the snow. So it's not slippery. It's the right time for him to swing on the branch, go up towards heaven. And then I know the branch is going to come back because he knows exactly when to leave the branch, like elasticity in it, and it dips back. It doesn't snap. So I'll come back to the earth. I'll go towards heaven till the tree could bear no more. Right up, remember that balance, the fulcrum, the load, and the lever? Right up there, dip its top, and then comes down, and I jump to the ground as I swing. So I've got a fleeting look of heaven. What do you think heaven is here? What do you think heaven is here? I don't know. There's so many different interpretations. What I would like you all to do is think about what you believe that heaven is. For me, that heaven is the very act of a child. He's gone back to his childhood. That very act has taken him to the very heaven. Because he's away from the weary considerations of the present life that he is leading. So for him, heaven is reminiscing and becoming a swinger of birches. Probably. You think about what you believe that heaven to be. Put it down. We'll discuss it later when we are doing some analysis of the poem. Right? And he's gone down again. Now we come to line 58 and 59. Last two lines. That would be good, both going and coming back. Or could do worse. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. That would be good, both going and coming back. Escaping from this harsh reality for some time, experiencing the heaven of childhood, and then preparing oneself to come back and face the challenges of the present life once again. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. Yes, it is. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. It's like the life's pleasures, like the birds swinging. This is enough to make life worth living. A simple act, but that is more than enough to make the present life worth every minute of living that it comprises. So, the image of the slender trees bent to the ground temporarily by the boy swinging on them, or permanently by an ice storm. Two images. Yes? But as you come towards the end, after the second transition, Robert Frost is no longer concerned only with a child's play or the natural phenomena of the ice storm that bends the branches of the birch. But in the last, from lines 43 to 59, you have a merging of the physical, that's a birch tree, the ice, the swinging, and the spiritual reality. So, the physical and the spiritual reality merge. What is the spiritual reality? Earth is the right place for love. I will go towards heaven. It would be good both going and coming back. Yes. I would like to get away from earth a while, for some time, when the burdens of life takes its toll on me, when I'm the point of snapping. But I don't want to give up. I don't want to leave the earth as yet, because earth is the right place for love. I don't know of any other world. I don't know of any other existence. My family, my friends, they are my world, and they are here on earth. So this is the reality that I believe in. A simple poem with deep, deep understandings. I would like you to go back to the first few words that you had written when I told you to think of what the birch tree conjures in your mind. Do you find anything that of this kind written in it? If you have, put a double tick and a pat on your shoulder. You know Frost well. You know what he thinks about. So let's get on to some technicalities here. Now, if you look at the analysis, I'll go with a few lines that you know these are the things that you really need to know when you get to writing answers and explanation, etc., imagery. So, can you look at line 9, please? You get uh, calls the ice coating the tree's enamel. You get this picture here. An enamel, you know, the glossy coating of used in the pottery. Yes. So, are trees, I'm just throwing a question at you, are trees here in Robert Frost's poetry objects of art? Art for art's sake, a reality that is created, physical reality transformed into spiritual reality, true art. Keep that in mind when you're writing. Very beautiful picture. Yes. Yes, there is a scientific reality of the effect of the sun and wind that has broken up the artwork, destroyed it, slashed it, but it is still art, nature's art, a reality. Okay, now lines 10 and 11. You see here the speaker compares the ice to crystal shells, and you have the imagery of shattering and avalanching ice. So it's a vision, another sense that is affected here very strongly. Lines 10 and 11. Now go to line 12. You have the metaphor here of cracking ice, shattering crystal. Yes? And this is tied together with broken glass. Very similar, the two images. And you know, the need for us to sweep away the glass. Yes? To sweep away the glass takes the metaphor into an extended metaphor. Yes? So it becomes two, like original metaphor, a new metaphor added to it, more like an extended metaphor. Line 12, very important. Heaps of broken glass to sweep away. So an extended metaphor is very clear here. Line 13, of course, I already told you. This extended metaphor reaches its conclusion here because you're talking about the crystal dome that shatters. The dome that philosophers believe could be that separates earth from heaven. So, this is the conclusion of that extended metaphor that began in line 10 and 11. Okay. All right, now come down to line 15. And they seemed not to break. Seemed not to break, yes. Uh, Imaginative language. They seemed not to break. Something which is tangible about to break, yes. So, this extended metaphor again, which had broken pieces, but here seemed not to break. So the reality, what we have seen earlier, is tied up with this imaginative metaphor. The branches seem not to break, though everything else has broken, lying on the floor in heaps. Yes. 19 and 20, the most effective, I think, of all the simile. The broken trees are compared to the girls drying their hair out in the sun, and a simile that carries, helps the imagination to carry you away into a different plane of a vision in front of your eyes. All of us will have different visions about this. Yes. And again, most important, line 21, truth. Yes. The truth that we have come across here. Yes. Fact of nature. When truth broke in with all the matter of fact about the ice storm. When reality struck. A realization dawned on the poet. Yes. And then he moves from nature into the world of men. A little boy spending his time swinging on the birch tree in his father's farm. All right. Now, if you look at, I think the rest here on this page is fine. If you turn to page 10, you will find the beautiful simile on line 44. Yes. Life is too much like a pathless wood, unknown challenges. At every bend that you take, you don't know what lies in front of you. You don't know what tomorrow holds, leave alone what the future is. So, this comparing life to this overgrown forest, it's hard for any of us to say with conviction what direction we are going. Where can we find a path? Or do we get roadblocks so severe that we have to design another route for ourselves? All this, a plethora of thoughts, which then takes this poem into a level of spirituality. And that is the important part of the poem. Now, one little question that I would like to ask you here. Do you think this boy, the swinger of birches, is he imaginary? See, the snowstorm leaves its traces on the leaves. Yes? Yes? You have distinct proof of the ice and snow and what the snowstorm has left behind. But when the poet talks about the boy, do you think he's there? Yes? Or do you think it is a younger version of himself? A specific time of his life. A specific time of his life, like you think about your childhood, filled with simple pleasures. Yes? Not worried about when the next meal is going to come from, not worried about how you're going to get to school the next day, not worried about what your vacations going to hold for you. Everything has been planned by someone else, your parents. Yes? So your life is, yes, full of simple pleasures. Yes, you have your challenges. You have to prepare for the exams. They're not too many idle hours, but still, the weary considerations have not crept in yet. Yes. So, is the little boy a kind of a romantic version of the poet's desire to go back to that world of innocent laughter, painless pleasures, and being one with nature, simple joys of life? Could be. Wistful thinking, yes. Wistful, because if I look at Robert Frost, he grew up, before the Industrial Revolution, 1900s, yes, and the world was changing at large, and he sort of was a part of this change. Uh, Probably began his life looking at a full-grown man, a farmer, wide open fields, uh, that kind of the challenges that a farmer faces when the world around is changing. He's trying to figure out what is best for him to do, for best for his family. When all this is sort of weighing down on him, he's thinking of a way to put off making a decision for a little while longer and not do it today, do it tomorrow. So what do I do today? I just go back into that world where I could be a swinger of birches. Carefree boyhood. Make sense, students? Yes, great. Now this part was quite heavy, so I really hope that you have jotted down your thoughts as we finished our first lesson 2 days ago, and today I leave you with the last section where you have the transition, which I did speak to you about some time ago, that it is a transition where the from the physical reality we are moving into a spiritual reality, and we see them merged here. And the most important line, of course, being, if I were asked to ask you, underline 2 or 3 lines, I'm sure each of you would do it your own way. But if I were asked which one would I underline, I would definitely think that for me the line is phrase, Earth's the right place for love. And if you have put something else, put it as the center of your thoughts and detail out what you've understood from today's lesson. Because when we come back the next day, we are going to talk about the analysis that will go behind understanding and writing out a full-fledged answer, which is a challenge. It's wonderful as long as you are understanding poetry. Like, it takes me back to one of my favorite films, like the Dead Poets Society, where we don't talk about meanings and suggestions and what poetry is all about, but just imagine the poem unfolding and each of you being yourself a swinger of that birch tree and thinking of the beautiful days that you are living in. But reality has to step in, and if I may use a line from what I just told you, for us, the physical reality and the reality of an curriculum merges, and that will merge for us in the next class. I leave you with a little thought that I read about Frost. It's a beautiful line that he wrote. You could use it if you wish to. He says, poetry begins in trivial metaphors, pretty metaphors, graceful metaphors, and it goes on to the profoundest thinking that we have, and that is poetry. So stay safe, think about poetry, think about being a swinger of birches. Till I see you again the next time, please jot down all your thoughts so that we are all on the same page as we go on discussing what challenges the ISC board will put in front of us by way of 20-mark question. See you then. Stay safe. Bye for now.